Guys, this is DFH Locker Room number 21, and we have a special guest today because he's been a lazy piece of shit for the past 2 weeks. I mean, he's like flying out to California, doing other stuff, more important stuff than hanging out with me and Doomsy. James Bond is back. Welcome back, Jamesy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Gibbs. And
We missed
I
you,
haven't
man.
been so much lazy as I've just been traveling.
Whatever. Like, Doomsy's over here getting sponsored and winning tournaments.
I know, right?
He still shows up.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
to
he's
be
too good for
fair,
us, Gibbs.
I mean, you're
he
really
sucks
gonna.
in RLCS, but yeah.
Well, they did win one. They did win one.
They
You
did.
know what? You know
They
what?
should have
won
won too.
But
They
I
should've
just,
won
I
too.
just feel like you're being mean to me, and I have been a subscriber for.
I know.
half
I
of a
see.
year.
You
half
just
of a
subbed
year.
again 6 months in a row. Wow. What a man. What a man. What a waste of money, James.
Dude, it's called
Still giving that to a
supporting
good
friends.
cause, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway, we have Doomsy here as well. What's up, Dooms?
But hello, how are we doing today?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And, of course, this is RLCS is in full swing. League play has played for a week. I figured, start off the show, why not go over what happened last weekend? And, you know, James was obviously there. Doomsy was playing in it, and I did absolutely nothing. So we'll let
lazy.
these boys, like, take away. Like, so we'll start with North America. We'll go with James first. Like, what was the one matchup that you enjoyed the most or surprised you the most, like, out of the first week for NA?
In week one?
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, we just did week one. I would probably say the biggest surprise in North America is either G2, how poorly they played, was a big surprise, getting swept by Revival.
that first one.
But honestly, and the team that performed the best that was a surprise was Deception, despite losing both of their series. I was expecting them to get beat a lot worse.
Yeah.
And they almost had it both series. They had that series versus Exodus one shot away in game 4, where they could have closed it out. And I think it might have been Fireworks that had missed the shot in overtime that would have clutched that series. So they were so close on Exodus, and then also Vendetta. Was it they played next?
Yeah, Vendetta.
And Vendetta going all the way to game 5. So Deception was the surprise for me in North America. In EU, are we doing EU too, or just starting?
Oh, no, just talking about North America. And then I was going to ask Doomsy, but he looks like he stepped out, or he's putting on lights. So I'll just talk about, it's one thing I noticed from just both regions that I really liked was game 1 is mostly like, it was like a top 2 team versus probably a bottom 2 team before we saw action. And both of those went to game 5, which just shows that like both regions are a lot closer than anyone thought, with Flipside over Red Eye 3-2, and then like Exodus versus Deception. Like, it's a lot closer than we thought. One game that I thought was really important was Take 3 taking out Kings of Urban 3-2, because that's like a big win for Take 3. Like, Take 3, they beat G2, but they've been lagging behind. They actually, like, it was closer than I thought it would have been, but that could have been because G2 played their first game, got a little bit of warm up, so that was actually a pretty big win too. But Take 3, in general, getting both pretty big wins here. Like against Kings, like, I thought Kings was going to win that one, like in a close
I'm pretty
series,
sure.
but-
Yeah, I thought Take 3 was just going to take it just because of that being their second series.
Yeah, so that's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, that was and that was a weird theme that ended up playing out. Was teams played better on their second series for the most part.
Yeah, and that's one thing that sucks for like Kings, because like Exodus and Kings both had only one game this week, and Exodus got to play a team when they were just fresh in game 1, while Kings had to face a team that was coming in warmed up, which is unfortunate. But like you have to play your schedule and you have to be warmed up yourself, and like I don't think Kings would hold that as an excuse in that series. It was close all the way to the end. That game 5, it was just like one random goal that decided that one, so it was super close. Dooms, like I don't know if you caught a lot of the North America action, but any teams or games that stood out to you?
G2, because I predicted them to do very well. it was just the GT series that, especially against Revival.
Can
Yeah,
we
that's-
get
I was like,
Lindsay
what?
on our prediction sheet?
Oh no, I put.
Let's
that.
get him in on this.
Yeah, I did.
Oh no, he's saying for like we have a pick'em
Oh
between
yeah,
casters.
yeah.
Like I can make a separate one.
Yeah,
Problem
let's
is because we might eventually use that for something. So
Okay.
Yeah, because I had
We're
a certain
secretly
someone.
picking everything.
like we could do our own, yeah. For
I think that would be fun.
between the three of us, yeah. So I'll make one up for week 2 and week 3.
Okay.
Alright.
But yeah, like G2 falling to Take 3 and 5. It's not incredibly surprising. But again, that's G2's second series, so that's one where you think they would be warmed up. But when you lose a 3-0, and then you have to come back and play in the second series, that's got to be pretty rough to do. So I could see that also backfiring. But that was a really big win from Take-3. But yeah, like Revival looked pretty good. They beat G2. They kind of they played okay against Genesis. They didn't show a ton, but they still have a shot at those top 6 spots. Because at first, like we were talking about, like Deception and Revival probably in the bottom. We were like G2, we're not sure. We were like, they're kind of lower, but we're not sure how far they're going to fall. And it looks like they're falling pretty damn far. They really need to.
Revival is one of those teams that's 7-8. In my opinion. So the fact that G2 lost to them, they're now going to have to make that big series point up somewhere else. And they're pretty much every other team, maybe besides Deception, is going to be harder or as hard as Revival.
Yeah. So G2, like their schedule is not easier, for sure. Like they play Deception, which they look great. So it's like, I don't know. G2 could easily go 0-7. Could very easily happen. We'll see how they do. Like this week, they're all gonna be at TwitchCon, so they're probably not gonna play that well.
Exactly. Like,
so they only have one game, luckily for them this week, and they're playing Exodus. So like generally, that's probably a loss for them either way. So maybe that kind of works out for them. But they did just beat Exodus in the GameStone Champions League Week 7, which was like 3 weeks ago, which is probably a really long time now, but. They have showed that they can beat Exodus, but playing at TwitchCon where like they might not have setups or they might, it's going to be hard for them to perform.
They might even be like playing on a laptop,
Exactly. So it might be really, really, really hard for them to perform. So I don't expect too much from that. Moving on to the Europe side, one thing I was mentioning before, like Doomsday, I think you were having a seizure with your headphones when I mentioned it, is that both teams, like. On both sides, game 1 was probably a top 2 team versus a bottom 2 team, and both of them went to 5 games from Flipside, Red Eye, and then Exodus and Deception. So, like, it's just showing that the regions are getting a little closer. Red Eye's been pretty hot, though, lately. They've looked a lot better than I think everyone thought they were going to come out, because they showed up for that one Gfinity where they beat you guys, and they've just been riding that momentum ever since, like, getting good result after good result.
I didn't realize how good Tequila's was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or if he just had an out of his head game.
Yeah. And I think they play a very aggressive approach, so they just kind of slam down. And so if you're unprepared, if you go against them for the first time, they kind of shock you because they like just hit a ball like a lot, and they just get in your face all the time. So it's really difficult to play them until you adapt and learn.
There was a couple of plays where like Tequila's was downfield in the corners, and they would just hit it to him, and he scored. I think that happened a few times. So
yeah, they looked really good against Flip, and like that's the problem. Like, so me and James, like we're doing a caster pick 'em, but we lock picks Friday night. But like if we could do them like fluidly throughout the day, once you see Red Eye how they played against Flipside, I probably would have picked Red Eye over Oh My Dog. But not seeing them before that game, like we're not picking that. And yeah, they looked really strong, like with a sweep over Oh My Dog. But they did bounce back at least against Machina Aces. But again, it's that second series where it seems like those teams have a little bit of an advantage right now. But Machina Aces. They look pretty good, even though it took them to 5 games against Oh My Dog. But like they've been looking really, really solid.
Devo is a beast.
Yes, he's been playing.
Devo is so good.
He's been playing out of his mind.
Yeah, there was somebody. I think it was Slock. Somebody put up an analysis post on Reddit, and like in 3 categories, it was like shots, assists, and saves. And Devo was the only player who was in top 8 of all of those categories, and also in highlight material shots, it's like him at the top with the Rizzo maybe underneath.
Top 10 plays, he has 8 of them.
Yeah,
but he's been playing really well for them, and that's what like Pashy needs, because Pashy's not the best offensive threat. I feel like usually his teams are more defensive because it's just the way Pashy goes up to like try for demos or whatever, and it works out that they don't get as much offensive chances. But Devo has been showing that it's like, I don't really need much help. I'm just going to go up and do my thing and get it done. And that seems to be really helping Mocket. Like Mocket, at first I was like, they're a questionable third, but like I might even have them at 2 now. Like they've been looking pretty strong. We'll see in their future games. But they're more of like a lock for LAN now. Like after this first week, I was pretty impressed with them compared to what I've seen before. But again, they didn't play anyone that great. So they played Oh My Dog and Summit. two of the bottom three.
But
most
they
likely.
won those series. So
Yes.
like this is not it's not because of the fact that it's not games, like the game wins or win percentage will only come down in tiebreakers. So like the series point is so much more valuable now.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because there's only 7 points available.
And it
Only
seems
7
like
points, and all you have to do is not be like you have to make top 6. So like just having there might be somebody who gets in off of 3 points. So if they just win one more series,
for sure, then they're top 6. Yeah, like
top 6, so.
if you have 3 wins, I think you're guaranteed top 6. Like there's like almost no way that you don't make it unless I think it might be if someone goes 0-7. And then if everyone else gets like 3 wins, then you might be bounced out, but it's very, very unlikely. So yeah, it's basically 3 wins, and at least you have hope for the LAN. But of course, like Market Aces are looking at the top 2 spot right now, and like
it
again,
would,
they play
it would be funny if Patchy finished 3rd again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but they look pretty strong. And then of course, Supersonic Avengers, now known as Reunited, they take out Summit 3-1, and again, it was that. Where Summit was coming in warmed up and they took game 1, and then Supersonic Avengers got like warmer and took the next 3, which one being on Neo Tokyo, which we wanted to mention. Like James, like want to take over, like how surprised you were, or were you surprised?
I mean, as soon as Carpet said it, like they never gave us any warning. Like we don't get to see really the map picks. Like they don't tell us. So as soon as we heard the music, we're like, oh my god, someone picked Neo Tokyo. So that was pretty cool. And I actually thought the games were pretty fast-paced. There was some times where people were fooled by the bounces in the corner, but there was a decent amount of like good backboard plays and aerials. And I mean, I thought it was interesting to watch. One of the big things, like when Neo Tokyo first came out, is nobody really played it very fast because people weren't comfortable on it. But it was fast enough to as like a competitive viewer. I was pleased with watching it. So and it got picked. It got picked by a player. So it's maps starting to become non-standard maps starting to become relevant and chosen by the players, which is my big argument was like, don't force non-standard maps, let people play them, and if they're good enough, they'll pick them, and they did this week, so that was cool.
And Dooms, how did you guys feel on Neo Tokyo?
Well, personally, I think it was a bit iffy. Like, it's so obvious we're not like, well, it's so obvious that like the entire scene isn't comfortable on Neo Tokyo, hence why it's not being picked. Because like the confidence of teams when it's like a standard map is so different. Once it gets Neo Tokyo, you see people like go nice and slow, right? Steady up the ramp, let's see what we can do. I'm going to make sure I get this ball.
Corners,
everyone's like, oh, be careful, everyone. beep beep driving through, you know, it's like okay. But no, it was alright, it's pretty good. I mean, it worked because we won it, so
yeah.
Yeah, you can tell there's a lot of work to be done from everyone.
Was it Summit again?
Summit picked it.
Summit. Okay. Well, because when you pick it, because how it works,
loser picks.
I don't know what. Yeah, so like, well, once you pick your map picks, it's like that for the entire day, so you can't change between the next team. So if you have two,
So that kind of stinks that you can't change based on the team you're playing.
So like, you know, you might want to play Neo Tokyo against one team, but then the next team you're playing that day, you don't want to because you think you have a disadvantage. So you're kind of like, should I pick it or not? It's kind of annoying. So yeah, that's why it was basically the same maps again for Summit.
And the way it works, James, like I don't know if we knew this, like we've mentioned before, but it's whoever loses game 1, then they choose games 2 and 4. It's not loser picks every game. Okay. So they just get it like it's based on game 1, which is weird. Like I wish it was just like 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 for blue and orange, but we'll live with it for now. But yeah, so
I mean, you get 2 maps. Either way, you get 2 maps.
Yeah. There's one default, and then there's 2 maps for each.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like the pick from Summit because again, like they're one of those bottom 3 teams that are trying to make a splash, and like sometimes it's harder. Like if you're a worse team than the other one on the normal map, why not pick Neo Tokyo? Like even if you lose on it, like it's good to throw that wrinkle in there to at least try and get the win. And like that's gonna be the problem with like people later on like looking at like, well, this team chose Neo Tokyo, but they went 1 and 4. It's like, well, would they have gone 1 and 4 anyway on standard? It's possible.
No, I mean that's the point that Lawler made is every team that picked a non-standard map lost, and most of the time it's going to be skewed because the biggest reason for a team to pick a non-standard map is because they're likely going to lose anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And evidence for that is because in Rocket Royale, we've picked underpass quite a lot of times, and we've won every single underpass we picked. So, just to add to the data pool there. So,
and in the pro league, when like I was on Cosmic, we picked Wasteland and we won every single game except for the playoff game on Wasteland. So it's like, I don't know, but like, I want to see some of these teams maybe start practicing it. Like I understand it takes out your practice time for standard, but like, if you can fit it in and you're one of the top teams, and like say it's like Exodus versus Kings of Urban or Take 3, and it's just like, well, these teams are pretty even, but oh wait, like Exodus like just picked Neo Tokyo and they just destroyed on it. Then they just got 1 free win out of 5. And of course, like that's not going to happen every time. Like even if you pick Neo Tokyo, like the other guys know how to play the game, so they'll be able to like get some wins off it. But if you like up that percentage from a 50% chance to win to like a 60 or to a 75% chance, then why not take it? But right now, no one's really practicing it because no one's really picking it. We'll see if that continues. Like I hope eventually teams start practicing these maps to try and get that advantage. But I think most of the teams right now are not. I don't know if the word lazy is proper, but I think they're just not concerned about trying to get small advantages here or there, which maybe they should, because that might be the difference in making the land. But we'll see. But Precision Z, they were a pretty big surprise for me. In that first game versus Supersonic Avengers, I thought that you guys would take it, Doomsy, because you had that 1-game warm-up, and you have the confidence like after beating Summit. So I thought that might really help you guys. And, of course, it was a really close series either way. It went down to 5 games. But I thought that was a really quality win for Precision Z that might help them try for that top 2. Like I expect both you guys to be in that middle of the pack. But that was a big win to still like have a fighting chance at that top 2. But then they just got kind of mocked by Northern Gaming, which was also extremely impressive because they did not look good the qualifying week versus.
And again, it was Maestro and Remco are just like dynamite. That duo is dynamite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's weird because we beat Northern Gaming on the Friday, and then Precision Z beat us on the Sunday, and then Northern Gaming beat Precision Z on the Sunday as well.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, more proof everyone's really even.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why Flipside 3-2'd Red Eye.
Yeah. And Red Eye, like I could see him taking away that 6th spot right now. They've been looking really good. That win versus Oh My Dog, like we were saying on the other side with Take 3, was like that's a big win to make sure that you probably are going to make top 6. Just need 1 or 2 more of those, and you're all set. But we'll go over the schedule later on. But we'll talk about some other things in between. So me and Doomsy had a big rant last week about MidSeason Mayhem and about mutators, how we would rather see Rumble as Game 3 versus Game 5 because we might not see any Rumble. Well, the mutator choices are in the rulebook now on RocketLeagueEsports.com/rules. So they're listed on what players are going to vote for. Now, of course, like these things could change, but for now, there is a Rumble inside the mutators. It's a civilized Rumble, which I actually think it's probably the best like all-star game type scenario because it leaves all the goal scoring opportunities.
Well, did you guys talk about the format? Because some aren't even okay.
We talked about last week how like Game 5 a Rumble, and we'd probably prefer just all Rumble or like take out mutators because I don't know if people really care about watching mutators. We even had a poll, and it wound up getting around 1,000 votes, and it was like 80% wanted to watch. Like Rumble versus mutator
I also
games.
noticed that your wording was biased, but I will not comment on that.
That's true. Well, like because like if people agree with me or see what I wrote, then that's fine.
We mean on the stream it was biased because it was definitely biased on the stream.
Yeah, but it was biased on the stream. But on the Reddit post, I didn't think it was that biased.
Oh, the Reddit post. Kind of.
I
don't think anyone could read that and then go. I don't think someone who's undecided will read that and go, oh, you know what? I think I prefer Rumble because of what Gibbs just said in that like one sentence. He just said like me and Doomsy were thinking how Rumble should be or whatever. What do you think? It's like
I guess I could see
that shouldn't sway.
You want to be as unbiased as possible
in
your wording, so that people cannot tell your opinion.
I did make some tweets and I just went, would you rather watch Rumble or mutators? Like, which do you find more entertaining? I just said that and put it on and tweeted out, shared that out. So I think it's pretty fair. I think it's still pretty. The general.
I could see maybe a 5% bias.
I like so like I am fine with it because it highlights all of the features of the game for new viewers that there's more to offer than just Rumble. It highlights the fact that there's mutators for the standard gameplay. It's going to highlight the different maps, and it will highlight Rumble. And also competitively, or mutators that are non-rumble, there's no RNG. Everybody's on the same playing field, has the same loadout for 100% of the game, whereas in rumble, there's a chance that a team will have more beneficial power-ups than the other.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm fine with the format.
Like,
but I can see
mutators.
the both sides of the argument.
Because like mutators changes like the physics, and yes, like it's the same on both sides, but like literally no one's gonna practice it. So I like sure there's no RNG in it compared to Rumble, but I think like you can play around the RNG like in a best of 5 scenario. One thing I would like to see is like maybe only one mutator choice and put like 2 Rumbles, which they basically have done anyway by adding in the mutator choice of Rumble. So I think that one will probably get voted a decent amount. But again, like I think Civilized is going to be a way more high-scoring game because it's going to be all the really juicy power-ups. The only thing is a lot. Doomsy, here's a little tip for you: hold on to your fucking freeze because spikes are going to be so OP in Civilized.
Spikes or the hook, and you're good. See, that's what I'm saying. The RNG isn't that bad because if you just think tactically. You just need to get a good power up and then just wait.
Yeah,
for
you'll
like a
say
really
that
good
when
time
you
to
get tornado when someone has spikes rolling towards your
Yeah,
net.
but you just quickly use tornado, but your teammates already got.
Quick use
You're
tornado.
using your tornado. You got tornado can be very good. It can work like a magnet. If you just get the ball, ride the wall, you can go all the way around the pitch.
I'm just saying that there's a chance.
Well, tornado won't be in at least for the
instead
mutator.
of a tornado, you could have saved a goal from happening.
So
there's
for
a
sure.
element of RNG that is not in a standard mutator.
Yeah, but
game.
like I don't know, it cool balances out in the end. So
does it? I think that is a very generous statement.
Well, just by statistics, like why it's not like one team's more likely to get more power ups than the other, is it? If you play the more matches you play, the more like you've had an even amount of good power ups.
But situationally, the power up that you're getting will directly impact the outcome of a game. That is random. That could potentially
but then it's the same
more
for both
beneficial
sides, isn't it?
to one team than the other.
Like that's kind of why I
It's
would.
the same for both sides, though.
So your argument is one team can both teams have an equal chance to get randomly lucky.
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
that's fine.
See, that's why I kind of want to see a best of 5 Rumble because at least it would even out over a longer time, probably. But with only just one game in Rumble, which now maybe 2, then maybe that one game in Game 5 they get like really lucky. But at the same time, like if you bring it to Game 5, like you've done it to yourself, try and win in 4, I guess. But let's go over to mutator choices real quick before we get into it. So here's the mutator choices. First one is bouncy ball. Ball size is small. Ball bounciness is high. Now, ball bounciness you're going to see on all of these is high, besides a very few, which I am not a fan of, but I'll get to in the end. Next up is the Rumble one. It is only civilized, so you only have the goal scoring power-ups. There's no tornado, there's no boot, there's no swapper, there's no disruption, and then all the rest of them are in there, I believe. So that one's going to be probably pretty high scoring because it's all the scoring power-ups. Next up is Mayhem. Ball speed, super fast. Ball weight, super light. Ball bouncing is high. Boost amount, unlimited. So, again, they're going more for the fast side of things than the slow side of things. That's just going to be chaos. Then we got Rebound. Ball speed, super fast. Ball bouncing is high. And then boost amount, like unlimited. So
I've got a brilliant idea for a YouTube video for you, Gibbs, that will get 1 trillion views.
Okay. Well,
you need to
hold on.
Okay,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go
All right.
ahead.
No, I just want to interrupt it because it's such a good idea. I cannot hold on to it. Just make a video, Gibbs, of 15 seconds of gameplay for each one of these options so people can see it, and then
so then they know what to vote on.
Yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
That's a genius idea.
Genius.
Mate,
stop
this video. Do it right now.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's over. The podcast is over.
The idea's already out there. Someone's gonna beat you to it.
Yeah. Exactly. But for this one, with Rebound, they call it. It's exactly the same thing except the ball weight is just normal. While in Mayhem, the ball weight is super light. So I'm like, I don't know why we need 2 choices that are so similar. That might actually skew both of these to not get voted for because the votes might get split in half. I'm not sure if people are going to be able to see what the votes are at, so who knows. Then we got Cubic Pinball, or Pubic Kinball, right?
Wow, disgusting.
Ball type cubes, ball size small, ball bouncing is high, ball weight light, ball max speed fast. Again, super chaotic. Then we got friendly fire, demos on contact, and it's also friendly fire.
That'd be quite funny, actually.
At least that one's normal gameplay, so I actually kind of like that one. It should be interesting at least.
I just ruined Lamp so much.
Yeah, next one, ball bounciness high, ball size default. So again, it's just adding ball bounciness. Pinball, ball, max speed fast, ball weight light, ball size small, ball bounciness high. I think that's like the same thing as one of these other ones up here.
Yeah, it's Mayhem.
It's the same thing as Mayhem, except ball max speed is fast instead of super fast.
Oh, right, I see.
Which I don't really understand why they're all the same exact thing. Then we get super cubic, ball type cube, ball bounciness super high again. So every single option besides the friendly fire and the rumble is ball bounciness high or super high. Doomsy, how much do you love when a ball bounces really, really hard everywhere?
To be fair, it is quite fun sometimes. It's like I don't know how quickly I'll get hold of it, but I think just the fact that it's like 3 pro teams actually trying to win. Sorry, 2, like 3. Why is it 3? It's 2 pro teams trying to win, going all out to play each other in like a casted event, and it's just a ball flying everywhere. I think it'd be quite funny. I think
what I'm worried about, like I do like it, but I wish there was more options of like slow it down maybe, or just cube ball with normal physics. Like I think that might be a little interesting.
Just get rid of cube. I hate
cube. But like just more options, because right now 3 of these are exactly the same, with ball bouncing is high, like ball speed super fast. Like I just want to see some other things, like maybe like only a small ball or something like that. I don't know. It just seems like they're going a little bit too much on the super chaotic side versus the other side. But at the same time, we're probably only going to see one of these now, because we'll probably get Rumble. I would think the fan vote is going to usually go to that Rumble one, and then maybe one of these others. And if it's only one game, I don't mind. But seeing 2 games back to back that are basically the same thing, of just the ball's bouncing really, really crazy, and then and like ball speed on max, that's gonna be pretty random for the most part. But who knows? Maybe pros will practice it. I wonder, because it's a 10K tournament.
Yeah, will pros actually not chump change. It's a lot of money.
So I wonder.
I know, but it's so funny in comparison. I'm just like, oh, it's only a mid-season mayhem. It's like, but it's 10K. Yeah, but still, it's just like in the middle of RLCS, which is 250,000. Honestly, it's like the second biggest tournament ever other than RLCS.
Yeah, it's like it is weird that when that one airs, it'll be the second biggest tournament there ever has been. Because the only other thing that was bigger was the RLCS LAN when they did the actual tournament from that. So it's going to be interesting. I want to see how the pros play with these ball bounces highs. I hope we get some solid gameplay out of it. We'll see. But at least there is a rumble like in mutators, which is what I was hoping for. So that's good. Because I honestly I think that's the most fun to watch. Like maybe it's not good for the players, like James was saying, where it's a little bit more random. But I think for the viewer side, I think that's the most fun to watch by far, is rumble.
My mind's definitely swayed a lot. I was very like pro Rumble, anti mutators. I don't know why last week. Now I'm more like I still want Rumble, but like I wouldn't want it all 5 games. Like I said before, I would like it. I just want it to be guaranteed. So I want it to be a game 3 rather than game 5, because then we can have some mutators random maps.
The last thing too, and someone will pick civilized for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So we'll probably see that game 3 at least. But yeah, like again, like I would rather have all right, we have one weird map, then one mutator, then rumble, then one weird map, then the last mutator. So at least it's like divvied up better. But I understand why they want game 5 to be super hype and it's just rumble. Problem is, if we don't ever see a game 5, we don't ever see it. So it's hard to weigh that, I guess.
I think based on this week of the RLCS, I think we'll see at least one game 5.
But who knows? Like with this, like teams might be really good, or might be terrible. But either way, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, and just because we're gonna be there casting it, me and James, and we're just gonna be like, thank God we don't have to play with ball bouncing this high while these guys make a fool of themselves. So we'll just be making fun of you guys the whole time. So
we're making sick plays. You're like, oh my God, what a goal,
Jesus!
Oh God, I can't believe it. That's great. Wow,
that's a fantastic goal from Doomsy.
I don't even know what happened, but it went in.
Snasky, what a goal. Oh, the assist from Lamp, so good. Oh, Lamp isn't actually playing.
What a play.
Yeah, like you're
He's
gonna
on
data.
Holiday.
Wait,
data.
what?
Just to let you know, he's looking sick. Actually, I won't give away the secret. Well, it's not really a secret, but Let's just say the mid-season mayhem is perfect for Data. Absolutely perfect for Data. He's our man.
Watch out.
He's our secret weapon. I thought Gregan was going to be your sub. What the hell is this?
He's our fifth. If Data can't do it, then Gregan comes in.
And then they're screwed.
Yeah, and then we're screwed.
Because then there'll be Team Blue, and then Gregan will just rage quit. Because that's just how it works. All right, let's move on. But either way, like just the last thing on the mid-season mayhem, it's gonna be fun. And like, come watch and come vote for the maps you want to see, or what mutators you want to see, because it should be a good time. Fans are gonna get to vote for that stuff, and we'll probably have some surprises, me and James, in store. I honestly don't know what we're doing yet for it, but it should be a little bit more wacky than a normal cast. So come and have some fun, and hopefully Doomsy wins it all. So then I can be the soccer mom, like James is usually. All right.
Espion did so good.
Yeah, I know. He's like the top of the leaderboard on everything. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, I wasn't really.
I mean, I just want to take that opportunity to highlight how unbiased I was in my casting of Genesis, but in my heart,
and in his pants,
unbiased. I was very happy to see Espion play.
So, all right. Yeah, it's really doing something. Yeah. Oh, and it's Espion! Oh my god! He's the best player ever! Oh my god! My heart is melting.
He's so beautiful. Oh my god, his wheels are so pretty. I wish I had wheels like that.
Oh shoot! Another team scored. Oh well.
Oh well. All right, Dooms, want to take the next topic?
Nah, I'm alright, mate.
All right, cool.
Yes, Red Bull 5G. Someone asked about it in chat just now. Good timing, friend. The Red Bull 5G tournament, for those of you who don't know what it is a tournament run by Red Bull. How do you know? For the UK only, and it's like a North v South, and there's basically a bunch of online qualifiers, and then the South, like the best of the South and the best of the North, then face each other in a LAN event, and then the winner of that gets all expenses paid trip to Japan. So yeah.
So whoever wins, like,
any sense to me.
You just go to Japan.
Yeah, we just get up. We just Red Bull.
Like, there's no like tournament there. It's just like a vacation.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was confused about. Okay.
Wait, no, the LAN is
okay. So the LAN is not in Japan.
No.
Okay.
So at the moment, we're at the stage now where we have 2 teams from the South and 2 teams from the North. So me, Pod, and Marky are one of the teams in the South, and we there's a LAN in the South, which will be at Comic-Con next month. And then there's a LAN in the North, which is in Birmingham, I think, at some point. And then the winner of the South LAN and the North LAN then face in London again, I think. No, face in Birmingham in a final LAN.
So it's 2 LANs.
For the 2 teams. Yes, there was 3 LANs. One for North, one for South.
Yeah.
Sorry, no. It's just they have to put...
Because it's like a big event that like Rocket League's a part of. It's not like only Rocket League, obviously.
Yeah. So there's North LAN, South LAN. Not really.
Yeah, that's true. Well, like
Birmingham isn't North. It's like, I don't know where the North one is. I don't think it is in Birmingham, but I can't remember what the North one is.
Me and James don't care, by the way.
North LAN, South LAN. Then they face each other in a final LAN, and then the winner of that goes to Japan just for a holiday.
So what's the format of the LAN? Like, how many teams go to your South LAN?
2.
That's it? So you're just doing a heads-up game.
Yeah.
What is it? Like a best of 7?
Best of 5, I think.
What the? So you're literally going to this thing to play for a half an hour?
And just chill out at Comic-Con again.
But they're paying for you to go there?
We don't know yet. We don't know what's going on because we only just qualified today.
So you qualified. So you're one of the teams, like both teams qualified. So who all qualified?
I think it was Woody's team. So Woody, Alius, and Lunation.
Okay, so you guys won. So you guys just won the South already?
No, that's the North team.
Oh, well, then South's going to win this so far.
There's another... Okay, there's so many... I can't remember who the other South...
Whenever you have Runway Woody on a team.
Okay, the other South team is McLovin, Taters... Oh, fuck me, I can't remember the third guy now. I can't remember the third guy. I can actually quickly look up.
Okay, so what's the other North
Woody's
team?
on the North team. His team's the North, and there's another North team,
which Gregan's
people
also not play in it?
Well, you had to be from UK.
There was a... What do you mean? This...
Like, Mike is in the UK, and so is Scrub.
Scrub's not old enough.
Okay.
I guess Mike didn't play.
Well, that's true. It's Mike. Who knows? Yeah, he probably just like, fuck it. Interesting. So you guys are the heavy favorites then, I would assume, to win this thing.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So then you're going to go to Japan, and you're going to bring me, right, Dooms? Like if you have a +1.
Oh, I can't. I'm afraid there's no +1s. I'm afraid.
Wait, really? There's no +1s, so you're just going by yourself?
It's just me. It would be me, Marky, and Pod. Here we go.
That's weird. Like usually, when you win a vacation, like you get like a +1.
Yeah, I know.
So you can, like,
I don't know. We might do, but I just remember reading the rules. It just says it wasn't.
Yeah,
me,
if it's
so
the
I was like,
+1, it would totally be me anyway.
Of course, it would, baby.
We'll just do whoever wins pick 'em. You know.
All right,
gets to
that's
go
fine.
with Doomsy. All right, Dooms. Thanks, Dooms.
So far,
whoever's
that
more
was
biased to me at RLCS.
Hey, James, that pick'em doesn't count for this because it has to be the one with Doomsy because I had a bad pick'em week. But you know, like I used all my luck on Baby Ryan, so that's just the way it works.
Of course.
All right, so hey, Dooms, congrats, and you're going to the land, and looks like you guys are heavy favorites. If you lose, we're gonna make fun of you forever. So
That's
just keep
fine.
that in mind.
Okay.
And yeah, good luck, dude. I'll see you in Tokyo. Me and James will stalk you there. We'll find a way.
This confidence.
We're gonna win the far west team for UK. That's how it's gonna work. Like Get Merked is just gonna be that far west team that comes in, the surprise
Far
one.
west.
Yeah, the far
Mysterious
west.
team from the west
Yeah.
comes out of nowhere.
You should go to the next Insomnia and play as Get Merked.
Okay, but
That,
just to
the
clarify,
North American invasion.
don't you already got your independence? Don't just come back.
Or we could
alright?
just come in as
Stay
Team
out. You want
USA,
to
Get Merked.
stay out, all right?
Someone said in chat, Mike is from Ireland, but that is in the UK. So
No, it isn't.
it's not. I thought it was.
Northern Ireland in the UK. The
Oh,
island.
Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Wait, that's two different things? I didn't
Yes,
know
they're
those two different things. Oh.
England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and then Ireland is a separate country.
Okay, see,
not part of the UK.
I'm very
But
confused.
either way, they did say the Red Bull. I think they said
That Ireland was allowed.
It says Ireland is allowed as well, so it's like UK plus Ireland. But yeah, so the other South team is
Yeah,
McLovin.
because it just says
Rottweiler,
three
and
countries.
Tatum.
I'm so confused.
So
I
if you
guess it is
get to
only
if you get to go to Japan, the question is, if you win and you go to Japan, will you visit Neo Tokyo?
Yes.
Oh,
I'll take selfies there.
you,
Yeah.
you need to do a video there of like
Take a vlog. Here I am
in Neo
Tokyo.
Tokyo Stadium.
Oh my god! I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna green
Look
screen.
at how
Neo
high the
Tokyo,
ceiling
just
is!
walk around.
Wow.
You guys have just given me a fantastic video.
There you go. Now I have a video idea.
I'll do a
You
video
have
of
a
Neo
video
Tokyo,
idea.
and I'll just green screen myself, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm in here in Neo Tokyo. What a great time I'm having! Thank you, Red Bull, for the trip. Great opportunity." And a goal comes in. Nice. I'll score some
There
bicycle.
you go. Perfect. So be
Done it.
surprised when that video comes out, guys. Be surprised. You didn't hear it here.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we got some org news. First, we had, of course, Super Sonic Avengers picked up by Reunited.
Really?
Congrats, Doomsy.
Nice. That's a good
Congrats.
team. I'm glad. Well done. Nice.
But you did miss out on disbanding, and then 30 seconds later saying, "Hey, we joined back together. We're reunited."
Yeah.
You really blew it. Really blew it. But congrats, dude. And so it's a lot shorter of a name, which is good. So instead of seeing S period Avengers at the end of the scoreboard screen, it'll look a lot better, which is nice.
That's true.
And if you can get an extra jersey, I'd like one.
Yes, same.
An extra one. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm starting to collect them.
First team
Sprinkle
needs
my
one.
magic. Waggle away and.
And then the
You
other
can do
one.
custom, you can do custom jerseys. You can buy it and put whatever name you want on the back.
That's true, but that wouldn't look as nice as if you got us one that was official.
Yeah.
Doomsday.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, just as a contingency plan, all right?
All right.
In case I can't work my magic.
Sounds good.
I'm sorry. If you just want to go to Japan, you want jerseys, you don't want much in life.
We want a lot because we
better
put
be
you on
super
this show.
biased this week.
Like we put
And
you
my
on
bad.
the show. We could have let you not ever appear on anything ever, and badmouth you all day, but instead we'll badmouth you only 10 hours of the day. That's how
10
it works.
hours of the day. Fuck me.
All right, anyway, let's move on to Vendetta getting picked up by Vindicator GG. So I guess their name's close to the same. I guess that's something. Little surprised by this org pickup. I'd never heard of them. They look extremely small. Like their followers, they're at 1,300. They don't have a website. I just tried to click it on their Twitter, and all it says is coming soon. Like just in font. So that's a little odd that a team with like this type of like
Screen time.
yeah, screen time, like publicity, would get picked up by this small of an org. I hope they got a good deal, because that's the only thing I could think of. But I'm not sure what their deal was, obviously.
Yeah, it is quite strange.
Yeah, it seems a little strange, but hey, hats off to Vindicator GG. However they pulled that off, good on them, getting this team, and we'll see how it goes. Like, of course, we don't know the details, so maybe it's really good for both sides. It just seems a little odd.
Maybe they're paying them a lot, because that's the only way a small org should be able to get a team like this, is if they pay them a lot.
Yeah, it just
at least $350.
$350, yeah. Mm-hmm. With trees, though, like actual trees. They plant 50 trees in your backyard.
Just $350.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that one's a little odd.
Yeah, it's got to be a good deal. Unless they're silly billies and went, yes, we will accept.
Karma's in chat. She's saying it is a good deal. Nice. Also, the org is rebranded, formerly known as Evolve Esports. Like,
so did they have to make a new?
I don't know how
media?
that. Yeah, because they should still have the same social media. So I don't know. But
Evolve Esport, GG,
as long as the players are taken care of.
Exactly.
That was my only concern, is that the players were taken care of. Yeah. So if Karma says they're taken care of, then they're taken care of.
Exactly.
Your boy Cloudfuel. He's your boy.
My boy.
He'll sort you out.
But
you don't hurt my boys. Like, he'll protect you. It's got your back.
That's how it works. Cloud's like just a bouncer of Rocket League. That's what it is.
Basically.
Did you see that Aquadome picture on Reddit? Of like, it was a shit post of like this the guy dressed up like a bouncer standing in front of the door, and it had Neo Tokyo right next to him, and then the next one was him opening the door for somebody, and it had the picture of Aquadome right next.
That's my favorite latest meme. It's so funny. It's so stupid.
That was fantastic. That made me laugh.
Anyway, back to Vindicator GG. They pick up Darkfire, Torment, Matt, and Karma. So if you notice, no Lethamir, who started for them in the first week of RLCS. The night before, Lethamir came out with a post saying, hey, I'm quitting Vendetta because they moved me to the 5th spot, and Karma is the new starting 3rd. Of course, then later on, Darkfire and the rest of Vendetta came out like saying, hey, 3rd spot was always open, and then there's kind of like personality clashes with like Lethamir, so they decided to, instead of putting him 4th, they dropped him to 5th, and they moved Karma to 3rd because they thought they were having more success with Karma. So there's a couple things I want to bring up here. Is like, first off, like, I think a team, like, if you think you have a better 3rd, you go for it. Like, especially like if like everyone knew about it, and like Lethamir knew that the 3rd spot was always open because they had to like make a really quick decision on their 3rd because of Muffins, who left to go to G2 as a sub. So they had to do it quickly, so they put Leth in the starting role at first, but they're like, hey, we're still trying out everyone. We're going to see how it goes. But, like, my question to you is, like, what do you think, because, like, no one's really talked about this, is compensation for Lethamir for making the RLCS League play. Like, I have my thoughts. Like, I want to hear what you guys say first of, like, what do you think he is owed for making League play with Vendetta? James, go ahead.
I don't think he's owed anything.
Okay.
I think that what you need to stick with it. Like, if you leave, if it's your decision to leave, I don't think you're owed anything. I think getting, especially in this situation, but there can be situational things maybe that, and you can convince me otherwise, but I honestly think that what you get paid at the end of the day is going to be what work you put into the season as a whole. And even if you get moved down into a sub position, I don't think leaving is a good idea, because even if you leave, you have zero hope at ever playing in this season of the RLCS. Mm-hmm. So the best thing to do is, even if you don't like being the 5th sub, is just accept it and work hard to try to prove that they made the wrong decision, and then leave at the end.
But because what about
when both things are said and done? Because then if he would have stuck it out, maybe he could argue that he deserves some of it. But when you burn that bridge, I don't think you're going to get anything. Nor I don't think the argument is strong enough that you should.
But what about the $3,500 that they've basically made because they qualified? and Lethamyr was a starter for that. Like, sure, like I don't think he deserves any like money for what they do at the end of league play because top 6 get money there, or like if they make LAN or anything like that. That's not necessarily because like if you leave, then you leave. But he qualified them to guarantee at least $3,500. Now, of course, they have to show up for the game, so technically they don't have that money yet. But I mean, realistically, they qualified and they made $3,500 because of Lethamyr. Like at least a third of it is Lethamyr. Maybe like you throw 500 to subs, like if you want. But I think he's like, to me, he's owed $1,000 for qualifying them to league play. Personally, is like the way I would see it.
I don't think if they made any agreements other you're dealing with people, and there is nothing binding Vendetta to pay him. And if especially if you're going to leave on terms which from the outside looking in did not seem to be a positive separation, then I don't think anyone in their right mind would expect that they get paid whether they feel they should or not, because there's nothing going to force them to. And arguably, I mean, I can see your point of view. He did put in the work in the qualifier, but I think with Karma or someone else, they also would have qualified.
Yeah, but like to me, like they didn't use someone else for the qualifier, and I understand that. Sure, he leaves on a bad mark, and of course, like the biggest thing is here they don't have anything in writing. That's the biggest thing, and I think going forward, players on teams that if you're playing during the qualifier and you qualify, like, if you think that you actually have like a realistic shot of qualifying, you should probably get something in writing for all the players to decide on how this money like goes. Because like, say you're playing qualifier, like I would expect, say they had something in writing, like it would probably be like the 3 starters, they each get 1,000, maybe 500 subs because they're on call. If they make it, so the 2 subs would split 250 while the other 3 get 1,000, something like that. Like, or just all 3 of the starters like only get money. Like it depends on what you want to do with your subs. But without it in writing, it's really tough. But I feel like Lethamyr, sure, like he did it a little bit to himself probably with the like trying to do the outburst on Twitter like a little bit too soon. I'm hoping they at least give him something for just goodwill.
I mean, I can understand that, but I mean, is he going to be happy if he doesn't get what he thinks is fair?
Yes, that's true. But.
And so to me, it's, if I were Torment and I were that team, and I did not think that he left on a positive note, like I would not feel obligated whatsoever to share that, which you will only get paid after the whole season is over. Like I wouldn't feel obligated to do that. But I can see both sides of the argument.
Like, I just think he earned it because they qualified with him, and like, it's not a guarantee they qualify with someone else, but it's tough. But I think going forward, like I think we can both agree on that players should get this stuff in writing.
And Torment, Torment also makes one good point too, is that Lethamyr caused damages by by the negative publicity. That was damaging to Vendetta. And it's hard to put a monetary value on that. Just like a goodwill of a brand, how do you value that? So because of the nature of the situation of the departure, I don't think that he should expect anything to, nor would I be surprised that he would get anything to compensate him for participating in the qualifier.
But at the same time, say he didn't do anything wrong. Say he was just like, all right, we'll just go on, like, say they had 4 people on a team. And they decided later on that they wanted Karma instead. And Leth was just like a sub, but didn't play in anything. They go onto the LAN. They win the money. Like, if Leth got $0 from that, I'd be like, what the hell? You know, like, players need to try and protect themselves. Because right now, really, like, it comes down to just, like, a majority vote between the players of, like, who gets to be on the roster and who doesn't. Because there's not really, like, an owner of a lot of these teams, like say Kings of Urban. It's just sad Jacob and Fire that are making decisions, so it's just a 2/3 vote, and whoever wins it, that's just the way it's going to be. So for job safety, I would definitely just try and get these things in writing for players going into the future of RLCS, because there's probably going to be more and more money coming into this thing. And to protect yourself, like say you're a sub or say you're a starter, but you think that your job's maybe on the line, I would try and get something right. Like if I qualify with you and we make it, I deserve a decent amount of that money because the way I see it for league play is like the league play money is not you didn't get $500 per match. Like that is what you're getting, but that's for just showing up. That I don't consider league play money. Like I consider that qualifier money, but of course that's up to the player to determine what they think is what. Like I wouldn't give like any player like any money for like the league play matches necessarily. Maybe I would give them a portion of what you win at the end for the top 6. I don't know. Like it's just a weird gray area, and it just kind of sucks. Just in general,
I can agree with that. It is a gray area. I can see both sides of the argument, but the lesson learned is when you're going to deal with money now, make sure that you have something in writing to protect yourself. That's what contracts are for from organizations.
Yeah.
That's what contracts are for in the real world.
Yeah, and I think, because I don't think it says anywhere in the rules for the RLCS how they pay at all. So I'm not sure how that works. But that would be something that probably should be added to the rules of like the site. So everyone knows going into it who gets paid, and then after that, then you have like a contract based on like what do you think people are worth on your team, like if subs are worth anything, or if like someone comes in for like half the season and then they get switched out. It's just a good idea to have these backup plans.
Yeah, and also I guess before like one thing to move on to is like I can't stress too like how leaving a team would make it where you don't get anything. Like in the real world, even with contracts from an employer. Like they can give you something, but if you quit in the first year, you actually will have to pay it back. You know? So if you don't stick it out for the full ride, then you don't deserve anything, even though you've worked X amount of days because you have not fulfilled, you know, the duration of your X requirement.
But say,
so,
like the only thing I think is weird is because qualifier, like, technically you win $3,500, but you have to show up. So that's a little bit of a weird spot. But say, like at the end of league play, top 6 get awarded money. Say whoever comes in first, say it's like Exodus. They come in first, they win, I can't remember how much it is, maybe 10K, something like that. What if Moses leaves the team before the LAN? Does he deserve part of that 10K? Which I think he would, because at that point he's awarded 10K. It was kind of like how G2... when they were Cosmic, like Gambit won qualifier 1, he got paid for that, and then Overzero got paid for the LAN. But like, how do you? So like, when the money is awarded, like I think it should be whoever's playing then, and then it should like whoever's playing at the LAN gets that money. Of course, the qualifier is that weird one where technically you don't win $3,500 until you show up for all the games because of fines and all that stuff. So that one's the weird one. But I think. Like at the end of league play, like if say someone leaves a team before the LAN, I think they deserve a third or maybe a fourth, like depending if they want to pay a sub of that money at the end of league play. But again, it's super gray, and I think it could go either way. But I think like this is a one discussion that players need to do with each other to just make sure that you're safe and you're getting paid. Because like say next split's like $1 million, like who knows. Like, with all the crates that everyone's buying.
Yeah, right?
Like, you're going to want to get some of this in writing if you're owed, like, $10,000. Yep. So, I would definitely, like, either talk to someone about that, like, before you go into, like, open qualifiers, like, say, oh, that's what it is, and, like, try and get some of this in writing. Based on time played, what's your percentage that you get for each portion
maybe
would be a good
even
idea.
ask about the rules, too, because maybe there's something in the RLCS rule set.
Yeah.
Just you're going to want to make sure that you have an understanding of what's going to happen.
So, Dooms, as a player, what do you think of, like, payments of, like, who gets what, or, like, job safety, or just in general? Like what are your thoughts? Because I see you're very quiet over there.
Yes, right. A lot is building out. I've got a lot to say here.
Okay. Sorry, me and James are bouncing.
It's fine. It's fine. Right. Okay. Starting off, the fundamental problem with all of this is that, as you guys said, nothing is in writing and there's nothing official. Everything we're discussing here is purely based on goodwill and whether people feel like someone should morally do something, whether they're actually obligated to do something. Now, personally, as a player, I feel that because you're guaranteed, we're not guaranteed, I'll explain in a minute based on the rules, but if you qualify for league play, you get 3,500, more or less, assuming you don't miss a match. Because of that, if I was in that situation, it's hard to say because I don't know how I'd react in terms of a bad discussion we had, and then there's a bad falling out, and we ended on bad terms. But I would give a full third of the money. Let's say Snasky, like we had a fight or something, Snasky went off.
Yeah,
I would give Snasky a third of the money of that 3,500, because we wouldn't get it if he wasn't playing with us. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would do as goodwill, and just because I think morally that's fair. However, I completely understand other people's viewpoints, because as the rules state, the tournament will award 28th. Excuse that. After league play, league teams will each be awarded $500 per match played as a prize for qualifying at that level, for a total prize per league team of $3,500. So based on the rules, it is stating that you get awarded money just based on playing a match. So technically, by definition, the people that should get the money are the people that are playing in league play, which means that if you did qualify, you shouldn't. However, this is why you need to discuss it beforehand and get it right in case something like this happens, because for me, I would just go, you know what, like just for playing, you earned your third of the money for qualifying with us, even if you're leaving now. So that's the whole problem here. Now with Lethmir going off on a crazy Twitter rant, like personally I think that's just silly. I understand. I think a lot of it, because it obviously just happened and he was angry and so he went on Twitter. I get that happens and you want to vent out, but that's why when you're angry, just avoid social media.
But also too, Doomsy, on the point that you were making about playing in the series, what if you're no longer on the team when at the time in which the money's awarded, you're not on the roster anymore, or is he still technically going to be on the roster?
He'll be on the roster for RLCS.
Okay. Well, this is the point. I don't think if there's nothing in writing, and we haven't discussed it, it doesn't matter if he's on the roster or not on the roster or what. It's just point. It's just it doesn't make a difference because you haven't actually got you haven't had any prior discussion about what you should do based on those scenarios. So it just comes down to whether each person feels like they should morally do it. Again, if the player wasn't on the roster, he goes off to Jamaica, quits Rocket League just straight away for some random reason. As we go to league play, it doesn't matter. I feel like he should get a third of the money because he helped us. He was a third of our team and helped us earn that 3,500.
What if he called your mother something terrible?
Well, I guess there's a line. There's a line that I'd be like, you know what, I just don't even care morally anymore. I don't want you to have that money because you've annoyed me that much. So again, that line is different for everybody. So it depends.
Yeah, and then a lot of people in chat are saying, all right, so then say there's $500 per match, then he deserves $333 for the third of the matches he played in. That again is another way to go about it. But then at the same time, all right, so he played in 2/7 of your regular season. If you come in first and get 10K, he played in say 2/10 of that. Does he get another portion of that money as well? Or does he only get the money because he was in the league play of the $500 per match? It's a lot of gray areas that it's just up to the players how they decide to do it. There's no rules saying what percentage you get. So, again, it could go any way, but get it in writing, guys, before you go. RLCS Season 3, probably going to be a lot of money. If you're going to be a top 8 team or close to it, I would get something in writing saying, if I participate in X amount of matches, here's the percentages I get for each stage. If I participate in qualifier week 1, maybe that's worth 0%. But if I participate in anything in qualifier week 2, every game, say there's 5 matches total, then I deserve 2/5 of that. If I played in 2 of those matches, which is 2/5, but then a third of that. So that's 2/15.
And another important thing too is, do not post something when you're still really emotional about it. You can write it when you're really emotional to get it off your chest, but don't put anything out publicly until you have a little bit to think about it. Because once it's out there, it's out there. And it reminds me of what happened with J-Raw. J-Raw got dropped from Vex, and he considered making a long post, but he never did. And I think that was because he's a little bit older, and I think that was the right decision, a little bit.
I mean, I can't say that enough. I mean, there's a lot of times where I've become really emotional. I mean, my first reaction is never to go to social media. It's just not really a thing for me. I don't know why, but usually I just vent it out physically or something, or within my own personal space and away from a computer, just because that's how I deal with it. But if you feel like you want to, just tell everyone, oh, this is fucking bullshit, what's just happened or whatever, as James said, I think like a really, really good way to deal with this is to write it down. You can do it on on your keyboard. You can do it in a notebook or whatever. Like write it down like a journal. Just vent out all your feelings. Write everything you want to write. Be brutally honest. Just get it off your chest. And once you've done all that, just delete it. Just like, get your paper, physically burn it or something, or scrunch it up, throw it in the bin, physically drag it to the recycle bin. And that act of just getting rid of it just helps you emotionally realize this is a problem that I've had, and I've let it out and I'm getting rid of it. And it just helps you kind of deal with the problems. And it means that also, instead of writing it out on social media, you're writing it out in a personal space, and that just helps you deal with it. Or you can, because what I do is I keep it like a diary. I don't really keep it too up to date, but it's just like whenever you feel like it, you can just like write out in your diary or whatever, save it if you want.
I want your diary. How much?
Fuck off, you're not having my diary.
How much, dude? Name your price.
So it's like
One thing
notebook hanging around. But yeah, that's a really good way to deal with it. So just don't go on social media if you're like really angry and you're like if what you're writing is like involves other people in an emotional state, just vent it out in a private place.
But one thing I think that is valuable is to explain your side of the story in a calm manner of what happened exactly, how it's going. Like with J-Raw, like we're not sure what happened there because J-Raw said he was going to say what happened, and then he just never did, which I think would have been more valuable for J-Raw, like if he came out and told us his side of the story. Right now, we really don't know what happened with Exodus back then because, like, literally no one said anything. So the only thing that we know is that Garrett and Turtle kicked J-Raw and picked up Moses between qualifiers, which kind of puts Garrett and Turtle in a bad light. It could also put J-Raw in a bad light because a lot of people are saying maybe there were some like clashes either way, but like it's a good idea to get out your side of the story, but just in a calm manner and be like, here's the facts, here's what happened. You guys can decide what you think of it, and that might be useful. I
think that
it just depends, I guess. But
you've got to do that.
Yeah, next time somebody wants to do this, we should just have them on the
exclusive.
show.
Yeah,
yes,
exclusive.
have them on the show, and we can ask them questions, and then we can. Then we get the drama.
Then we edit it so it sounds so much worse. And gold. More YouTube stuff.
But yeah, that's why if you do want to write something like to explain, then do it like after a couple of days after you've vented out properly. So you write like a really crazy, you're a bitch, I fucking hate you, I can't believe this person did this. Oh, this sucks, everything's in this, I can't believe he did this, or whatever. And then throw it away. And then a few days
delete
later,
the swear words.
Yeah, delete it all.
And then you're left with like 10 words and you're like, crap. Now what do I do with this?
So yeah, write it when you're calm and you're like collecting and stuff. That really helps. In the RLCS rules, by the way, the problem with this, I mean, there's a lot to read. I haven't read every single part of it because there's a lot of like privacy stuff or whatever, terms and conditions have. But I don't think RLCS actually states technically who should get the money. It's not like the money. It just says like money's given to the team. And it's not like money is given to the team leader, because how they pay us for RLCS is usually it's just like, oh, what's your PayPal? All right, here's a PayPal, and then they'll send us money individually as a teams. So it seems very much like RLCS basically go, you're a team leader, I'm going to talk to you, just basically tell me who's getting paid, who wants the email. So basically they're giving it to the team to decide who gets paid what, even though that's not technically written down, which means it's very wishy-washy. So if there is actually like kind of an argument over who should get what with this team, it could very well, there's not any clear-cut sign, so I don't know how that would be decided. Like let's say that Left was, I want this much money, and then the other two were like, nah, you're not getting that much, and it's like, well, where's the rules? Where's the official rules? And then it's like, it's not very clear. I don't know how the hell how the hell you decide who gets what money, which is why in the future, suggestion RLCS, you just making a rule somewhere that like the team, like you can either write down who actually gets what money, depending on where you play, and like force it. But I wouldn't recommend that. Or you just say like team captain decides, just to make it easier. For legal reasons, captain, just go like team captain decides. Yeah. And then if the team captain has actually made a decision because of the contract or writing you've made with your team members, everything's clear cut. Everyone knows who's getting what. Whether you're leaving or not. You can curse everyone as much as you want. Well, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can, and then you still get the same amount of money. Also, in regards to the liquidated damages of Leftemir ranting, technically, if he's slandering the team name, or the team, he should pay the amount of money of damages that he's done. So if Vendetta lost a certain amount of money because of what he said, that's kind of how you estimate how much he owes. It's a small like team now. I don't think like what he said would do much damage. And because like the team technically isn't earning money based on their publicity at the moment, because there's no like they're not selling anything, there's no like jerseys, they're just earning money based on the team performance. Don't think like really, in my opinion, he owes any money or loses out on money based on what he said. It just means that again the goodwill is then further, it's gone down a lot more between his teammates because of what he said, so he's less likely to get money. Whereas if he was a bit more calm and collective about it, his team members might be like, you played with us, I'll give you some money. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, plus the value was like maybe they already signed with the org or were in final talks, and if that number didn't change of like because of what Lethamyr said, it's like there might not be many damages to be had, and I doubt an org's like, oh, we were gonna pay you $5,000 a month, but Lethamyr, that one post, that's it, we're going down to 3. It's like it's doubtful. Like
I don't think we'll just solve that issue by letting that they'll pay me and I'll distribute it fairly.
Yeah, of course, yeah, but. Just going forward, guys. Just
totally,
if any players
totally unbiased, James.
Yeah, definitely get things written down and signed before the qualifiers next time, so you know what percentage goes to who. And that's if you're not like in an org. Like if you're in an org, then you should talk it over like with the org of who determines what money. And again, get things signed because that's just really important for your own safety. Because like Lethamyr put in a lot of work, and of course, like he did some of it to himself, but he might not get anything out of it because there's no real rule for it. So we'll see what happens with him. I think they're saying in chat he's probably going to get $333, but who knows at the end. We'll have to continue that story along in future weeks and see what happens. But yeah, just protect yourself, guys. Get things signed. Very, very important.
Wear a condom. Protect yourself.
Yep. Next topic. James, want to take it over?
Yeah, sure. So this topic actually came up in a Skype chat. And I was like thinking that it would be very one-sided in responses. And the topic is whether a team should be able to forfeit a game in a series in the RLCS before time runs out. Mm-hmm. So do you think teams should be able to forfeit, like you can a ranked match essentially, a game in an RLCS series? I put it out there. Should it be allowed? Should it not be allowed? And we had 681 votes. What do you? So I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the results, but what would you think based off of your opinion? What do you think? What do you think the ratio was on voting?
Honestly, like what I think personally, I think I saw it very, very early on, so I can't remember. But I think my personal opinion is I think it will be very different to what I think the public would say. I would say it's way more even in the public because I know a lot of people are like, oh, just let me forfeit, like this is annoying. And other people are like, no, you should just be a man and hold on. So I think it would be pretty even. I would think more people wouldn't want you to be able to forfeit by like 55 to 45%, but no more difference than that. That's my guess.
Doomsy definitely saw the tweet.
You're
like
well,
spot
it sounds
on,
like Gibbs did see the tweet then. So yes, it was 43% think it should be allowed and 57 think that it should not.
Yes.
And so I was honestly surprised because I was thinking it was more going to be about 70-30. 70 and saying no, it should not be allowed, and 30 saying it should.
So what are your thoughts,
James? It's a bit
James?
surprising to me. I personally, and you can convince me otherwise, but I don't like the concept of it. Like, I am of the opinion, like, Rocket League is more like a sport like soccer or hockey, in which it doesn't matter if you're getting plowed in the a-hole. You've got to play out the time.
Well, I mean, that might not be shown on TV, so we might have to forfeit that.
Well, yeah, maybe not on Twitch.
Plowed in the exhaust pipe.
But I like that because I want to keep the game as pure and simple as possible for statistics reasons. So if you've got a team which every time they think they're going to lose, they forfeit, then their stats are going to be skewed for the season. And I want to know, and some like D-Pan said something about outliers, but I would trust DM Rawlings' opinion more since he's our stats guy. No offense, D-Pants, but I just like the simplicity of it, and I don't want to see teams forfeit. I think, especially from a viewership standpoint and planning a show, just from those standpoints alone, I want to plan on 5-minute games in a series. But mainly, I want to see him play it out.
James, what are your thoughts? Because I want to end mine.
Well, quickly, just to
It's gonna be
clarify,
longer.
when you say you mean forfeit a game, you mean one individual game. So like you're losing 3-0, and there's like,
You're in game 1, you're losing 7-1.
and
With,
you
like,
start
30
forfeit. We'll
seconds
go to game 2 or something.
Yep.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Just yeah. So that's like, I agree with you, James. I think that's like, you shouldn't be able to forfeit, because I think there's something about like more than just, yes, it skews the stats, and I don't like that either. So keep going. But I just think it's weird. Like, I don't know. Like, you shouldn't be able to just go, oh yeah, we'll scrap this one, we'll move to the next one. Just like take it like a man and just either try and come back, or just like use that time to recuperate yourself. And it's like, I don't. Does any other esport do that? Does any other like sport do that?
Yes.
Really?
So
StarCraft
in
does
StarCraft, you can GG. And one of the points too, and you guys can address this as well, is whether or not it's unsportsmanlike to forfeit a game early or not. That was one big part of the argument, is people, certain people in Rocket League will view forfeiting a game as unsportsmanlike.
I don't
think it's unsportsmanlike as well.
Okay,
And so those are two.
Yeah.
That was kind of where it started, and then that led to the question of whether or not people should be allowed to or not. But one big part of that too is people people in the community think that it's unsportsmanlike to forfeit a game early.
So like, I grew up mostly in a sporting background, and like, so generally, like, my thoughts are, I would never, like, say I was on a team, I would never forfeit a game. Like, even if we're allowed to, I'd be like, no, we're playing this out. We can talk about like what we need to do more here and there. Like, I rarely forfeit ranked games, to be honest, but sometimes it was like, all right, whatever, let's just move on to the next, because it really doesn't matter. It's a ranked game, and it's over. And I want to make my teammates happy so they can move on like with their lives, and that makes a little bit more sense there. But when you're in a competition, I personally don't like forfeiting. But on the other side of things, where we're saying like, all right, well, now we have weird stats because they only played 4 minutes 30 seconds. At the same time, we have overtimes that last 5 minutes, so stats are skewed either way. It really doesn't matter for the stat purposes, I don't think, because if you have long overtime, that's throwing off stats as well. Sure, it's the same game, but it's not like every match is a 5-minute game. That's not the case at all. So I don't get the argument for the stats too much. I don't really care. Like, unless someone forfeits, like, hey, we're down 1-0 in 1 minute, forfeit. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And another great point that Science Guy brings up is if people forfeit a game, we'll no longer have great stats like most goals in a game, because people will get shut off from that.
That's true. Like, there will be some like records.
So if you're getting a devoed and Devo's at 9 goals and there's 2 minutes left, and they'll forfeit, then who knows how many goals he could have scored. And our
That's
highest
true.
goal in
For,
a game
like,
stat would be messed up.
I
That alone is enough reason for me to say no one should ever be able to forfeit in the RLCS.
Like, I would personally not, like, I would prefer non-forfeits, but I'm just trying to play more devil's advocate on the other side. Like, it's weird, because, like, in real sports, you'll never see a team forfeit, ever, and they want to play it out. And that's what I would hope most players would want to do here. At the same time, usually you're only going to see forfeits with, like, 30 seconds left. And it's like, does it really matter if they're 5-0 or 6-0? Like, personally, I don't care that much about game records. But I understand that is a good argument for, like, for stat purposes, which makes sense. But at the same time, like, if you have a 15-minute long overtime, whoever played in that's going to have the most shots, more than likely, in a game. And it's just the way it is. I don't know.
But who really cares about shots, you know? It's mostly goals, I'd imagine.
I guess, but like most saves, like, you know, people are going to care about most saves, too. I don't know. Because that's going to happen in a long overtime game. That's not going to happen in, like, a regulation game. I would rather not see people forfeit, but I can understand why some people might want to, because it's really boring for the viewer at like a 7-1. Just move on to game number 2. But it's only 30 seconds, or it's only a minute. Like, I would much rather just see him play it out, because it's a 5-minute game. Like, I see it in, like, StarCraft or Dota or League of Legends, which I think League, I don't think they allow forfeits anymore, or you see it very, very rarely. Because, one, like, there is chances to come back. Of course, in Rocket League, there's only a certain amount of, you know, comeback opportunities, but it's only a 5-minute game. By the time that you know that you can't win, there's only a minute left anyway. So,
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't play out that extra minute. And I would think, like, even if there was a forfeit option, I bet we would only see it, like, maybe 5 times at most throughout a season, because I think most people would just play it out.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's like I agree with you. It's not the stats that make me go. Like when I first saw this question, I didn't think of stats. I just thought there's some integrity to it. It just seems so unnatural and so weird to forfeit like a highly competitive match like that. I just think I can't really explain why. I just think it's very wrong to forfeit, and in that, like, forfeiting ranks, and that's fine. Like, I don't think that's unsportsmanlike at all. Like, if you want to forfeit, go for it. But I just think in a competitive match like this, where there's viewers and there's casters and there's like,
and there's
a proper format
sponsors
to
paying. There's sponsors that are paying
well.
for ad time. So if you quit a game, and like, it can affect a lot of stuff.
But again, that's like 30 seconds. Like, I don't think sponsors would care about the 30 seconds, because
I just think it's the principle, Gibbs.
Yes, the principle. I understand for
right?
sponsors, like, but I don't think it's
not for
time.
sponsors,
like,
just
time,
for the integrity.
Yes,
of, like,
for the
game
that's
and the sport itself. Like, it just shouldn't. You shouldn't forfeit. It shouldn't be allowed.
Because it'd just be weird if someone, like, in soccer, just like, or I'm sorry, football, walked off the field with like 20 minutes left, like when they're down 5-0. You're like, screw it, guys, we're out. See you later. It's been fun. GG. Like, it would just be weird.
People would just be looking at him like, what the fuck is he doing?
They all just walk off. Like, all
just
right,
imagine the Brazil. Like, they hung out. They got 7-1 and they just stayed there. Like,
we need the Brazils, because everyone would forfeit at 6-1. Everyone would, because no one wants to get Brazil. Yeah, well, like, I'm on your side, but I don't think it's like, for the stat purposes, I don't think it matters too much, except for that goal record. Like, that makes a little sense, but I mean, long overtimes always skew stats anyway, and I doubt we'll see it with more than 30 seconds if it was allowed. Hopefully it just is not allowed. The only thing is, though, I would never want to see it allowed when there's no end game screen. Because right now the only way to forfeit in private games is to quit, is to leave, and I don't want to see that. Like, I would want to see, like, say they do it, then there needs to be, all right, like a forfeit option, and you see the end game stats and all that. So it's actually like completion of a game. I don't want to see people leaving and they're like, well, I guess that's the game. We don't have a scoreboard at the end of this. We're just going to move on to the next. That's really awkward. But again, like, I'm with you guys too. I'm just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate of, forfeits. Like, I come from a sporting background. Like, I don't want to see people forfeiting. And, like, I want to see you playing it out. And, like, even when you're getting blown out, teams should be able to know, like, all right, guys, let's have some fun with the last minute. Like, I don't mind people having fun with the last minute, because that might help that team get back into it for the next game, like going for a weird freestyle, because why not? But it's probably better off to play it out, because you want to spend that extra time, that extra downtime, because like, in between games, like, you only have 1 minute of downtime. But if there's still 2 minutes left in the game and you're down 10-0, have some fun with those last 2 minutes, and then you have 3 minutes of downtime, basically, like, or more, based on goals. So I think it's actually more beneficial for you not to forfeit, but, like, I could see why, because, like, a lot of players will get really salty if they're down 10-0. But we won't see that much in RLCS anyway, but yeah.
I feel like, I don't know why, not relief, but, like, if I'm nervous in a game and I'm losing, like it happened in Precision Z match, I was quite nervous. Not in the group stage, but in the qualifying match. There was a point where it was like, we're 3-0 down or something. I don't know. We're quite a far way down, and it wasn't looking great. And I was just like I was relieved in a way, because I was like, I've got nothing to lose now, really. Let's just fucking go for everything. I'll go for like all the contests and the 50-50s, and I'd like risk it, because you might as well. And so, like, there was a big relief, and I could ease into it. And then we started playing really well, quite well. Yeah. So I think, like, just instead of forfeit, like, usually in that would be an instance where, like, probably like a forfeit would happen for a team if they're like, oh, well, whatever, I've got nothing to lose now, forfeit, yeah, screw it, we lost. Whereas, like, in that instance, you could kind of use it to turn yourself around and be like, all right, well, yeah, I'm gonna relax a little now, do some stuff and get back into it, and I feel pretty good about myself, whatever, and just play. So that's a time to do that.
All right, James, any last thoughts before we move on?
No, I think that's pretty good. I think we can agree that it's not necessarily unsportsmanlike, but the gist is that I don't think it's ever going to be allowed in the RLCS.
Yeah. We're trying, like, I don't know, like, I always come from that sporting background. I want to see more, like, players that grow up a bit more and not forfeit during major, like, competitions. I would much prefer that. And again, it's like the principle, as James was saying, for the sponsors, for just the integrity of the game. Like, even though that sounds cheesy as fuck. But it does matter to a certain extent. I agree. We all agree, gentlemen. Let's move on.
Yeah.
All right. RLCS schedule
Oh
this
my God.
week. James, got any big games, or do you want to look at it a little bit more?
I mean, G2, if they get this win versus Exodus, they're back in it. In
That
my
like
book.
saves them. Yeah, that saves like all that pressure. At least a little bit will be taken off, and they'll still have a chance. Like at even top 2, even though we doubt that would happen. But like you can't lose in week 1.
Yeah, this is make
Like,
or
you can't
break.
get it-
This
yeah,
is
like,
make or break for G2. If they get this win versus Exodus, they're still in it. If they lose, I think we might not see them in the top 6.
Like I don't think it's that important because I think they still have like Vendetta and they still have Deception. So there's still possibilities depending on.
Well,
how they play.
there's gonna have there will be yeah, and I guess it
And
depends
Genesis.
on
And Kings.
yeah. Revival and Deception are the teams that G2 is trying to beat.
Yeah. But also with the roster moves from Vendetta, who knows how well that's going to work? I assume they know what they're doing, and I think their team is better this way. But they were like pretty much a borderline like 5th or 6th anyway. Before, like I think personally, but they had opportunities to move up to like 3rd, which I think I predicted at the start of league play. Because I thought they would
G2
improve.
only plays once this week as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think it might actually help them a bit. Like even if they go 0-3, like it does suck because then there's 2 weeks of them like shit. We're 0-3, and that's a lot of pressure we had. But like say they went 0-4, I think they're in a lot more trouble than 0-3. It's still not a great spot to be in, and you're playing Exodus, which is an expected loss. But like if they do win it, that'll be so big for them.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think a loss kills them just yet. That's what I think. I don't know.
Fair enough.
My games like a Deception versus Revival. I want to see, and plus like Take 3. I want to see if they are for real. Like they beat Kings, they barely beat Kings, and they beat G2. G2 was pretty close, but at the same time, they also got swept right before, so maybe it shouldn't have been that close. And then Kings, like they had the better advantage of playing warmed up, which might have helped them. And Kings can be shaky at times, so I want to see if Take 3 can continue it. Their shooting percentage was actually pretty crap, I think, for Take 3, if I remember correctly. Like I'm doing some homework for the show this weekend, but I want to see them get a little bit more accurate on their shots. I want to see how they play against Exodus. I think that's a huge game. Seeing if that torch is starting to pass over to Take 3, or will Take 3 go back to more of where we think they are, probably right in the middle of the pack. I think that's a really big game. And then Kings of Urban versus Genesis, that should be huge. Because Espeon was a fucking god.
Yeah,
last
he
week.
carried. Classics
Yeah.
actually played horribly.
Oh,
in the
Classics
first,
didn't do anything.
He scored 2 own goals within like 5 seconds.
Plus
in one
all
game.
his his score, his like assists per games, goals per games, all that stuff. It's all like
Which
bottom
is
3.
It's
in
crazy
the
because
league.
normally he is very, very good. So
But at the same time, that might so like he wasn't getting involved as much. But I think that's kind of a benefit for Classics because Classics has always been known as a little bit more of a ball hog or like a solo player. So maybe letting the play come to him might actually be beneficial. Of course, like the own goals is bad and all that, but maybe letting like Espeon shine, that might actually be a good thing for Classics because Classics doesn't have to be that carry that he tries to be all the time on his other teams that weren't that successful. So who knows? Maybe it's something good for him. Like obviously, not this.
it was a
bad
great
of
sign
stats.
that despite Classics not playing well, that Genesis was still able to to win.
So it was huge. So I want to see more from them because, like, those two top 2 spots are wide open. Like, Exodus did not look great week 1 against Deception, and Kings of Urban lost to Take 3, who like, everyone thought was probably gonna be the top 2, the most consistent teams, and they both didn't look that great. So it's gonna be a lot of moving and shaking. And now we finally get to see Exodus and Kings of Urban play 2 games because we only saw 1 game from them each. So we'll get to see where they are, like a better showing from them. So, and like everyone will have at least 3 games done. Some will have 4. So we'll have a really good look after this week for NA. Dooms in Europe. Besides your games, of course. Any big games that you want to watch?
Oh, what? I want to watch my game. But
Yeah.
totally not being biased, that is the biggest game.
Which
To
one?
put it out there.
Decision.
Me
Which one?
versus-
The
Me, fuck me. Supersonic Avengers. Reunited. Oh my god. Reunited us versus Flipside.
Yeah, that was going to be rough for you guys because, again, that whole warm-up like situation for Flipside, that
Also,
could
guess
hurt
what?
you.
Greasy isn't playing this week.
Oh, really?
And
I
Jay's
did
is
not
playing
know
instead. So it's kind of like, it puts more, for me, that puts more pressure on me.
to beat
Because
them.
it's like, if we lose, it's like, oh, fuck, so we can't even beat Flipside with a sub.
Yeah. At the same time, like, because like you guys are battling Precision Z, like, at least as one of the teams that are going for top 2, you kind of want Greasy to play against Precision Z, or at least hopefully they beat Precision Z, like with Jazer. Hopefully we don't see like air dribbles that just go sideways across the map like a billion times like last time when we saw Jazer. But
yeah,
he's a good player, right? Obviously. So
I have absolutely no idea what he's like as a player. Like, all I know is like,
well, all right. So like he's decent. Like
yeah, of course
he at least knows how to hit the ball. And when you're playing with Markey and Cooks here, that's basically all you have to do sometimes because they're so good. So we'll see.
They won Gfinity. They beat Market 4-3 with Jazer. Okay. Obviously, they're pretty good. Yeah. I'm not saying that. That's the word. Like, it's the fact they have a sub, but yeah, the sub is still good. And it's like, so I'm like, it kind of puts pressure because it's like, well, they have a sub, and if you can't beat a team with a sub, and it's like, what are you doing? But the sub is good, so like we're gonna have to put in a lot of work to beat them. So which is why it's the pressure's there. Mm-hmm. But I think like this is the problem. Like, I don't know because like Flipside's got 3. All right, so Red Eye get 2 games off Flipside. That's pretty close. And then like the week before we 3-0'd Red Eye. We beat Northern Gaming 3-2, and then Precision Z beat us 3-2, and then Northern Gaming just destroyed. Well, actually, to be fair, the 3 games were pretty close, but they 3-0'd Precision Z, and it's like I have absolutely no idea how Flipside's going.
I think they were close by scoreline. I didn't really think they were ever really in danger. Like Northern, well, whatever.
It's like I just like when we're playing Precision Z, I'm playing a team that I'm like they are this is a good team. Do you know what I mean? Like I thought personally I was playing really really well last week. I know Lamp said he was having a pretty shy day, and we all agreed, which is like rare for Lamp because he's usually,
I thought
like,
Snasky was like the most clutch player for you though.
Snasky was very good. He was very good that day as well. It's just like it's like I still feel like the reason why Precision Z beat us was because they played very well rather than we played bad, if you know what I mean. So it's surprised me to hear that Northern Gaming when I saw that Northern Gaming 3-0'd them, because I thought like I know Northern Gaming are good, and to be fair we've only played them once because I never really know how good the team is until I play them. And so we played Northern Gaming, and I was like, yeah, it's a good team, but I feel like we can definitely like we're on par with it. We're on par with this team. Like we are equals. Like we're probably going to interchange wins quite a lot. Whereas Flipside obviously had a history of beating us a lot more. So yeah, when they 3-0 Precision Z, I was very confused. So now, I don't know. I don't know how they're doing against Flipside. Like, yeah, either result wouldn't surprise me. I think Flipside are way more inconsistent than Precision Z. So I think if Flipside's peak is better than Precision Z, but then Flipside's like trough, their worst, is a lot worse than Precision Z.
And with the sub, obviously. Yeah.
So Precision Z are probably going to be like the neutral game, and it's up to Flipside whether they're going to win or not. So if Flipside are having a good day, they'll beat Precision Z. But if they're like probably having a normal day, or like a little bit worse, I reckon Flipside have to play well to beat Precision Z.
And plus, Precision Z is going to have that like warm up game almost like versus Summit, which they should win, even though Summit will be warmed up for that game. That's still a game Precision Z should win 9 times out of 10. But who knows? You know, with Europe, it does. We have no idea. So that could also help Precision Z plus the sub. That's a very intriguing game. Like I didn't know that Flipside was gonna have a sub. Like if Greasy was playing, I would not think Precision Z would win that, but I would still give him a chance just because again that warm up. And Flipside's always really slow in their first games. They've been notorious for doing that. Just like we saw at the LAN, but at the same time, like Cosmic beat everyone, so who knows? That one should be interesting. But like Mocket versus Northern, like that's the game I want to see. Like Mocket's been looking pretty good, and Northern last week looked great versus Precision Z because they just controlled the game. Which I was surprised because they didn't play well against Oh My Dog during the qualifiers. They were not playing well at all. I thought like Mystic was not playing well at all when they played Oh My Dog, and Oh My Dog did not play that well either in that set. So that should be interesting. I assume Northern Wins against my dog, but the market aces, I'm tending toward market aces, maybe. I don't know. Because like
they're
Devo's been a
looking good.
beast. Yeah, like
Yep.
Devo's been looking really good.
I
But-
thought everybody was looking really good. I thought Panda was distributing the ball beautifully. Like this one play that I remember vividly was Panda at half set it perfectly on top of Pashy, and Pashy was able to dribble it in 1v1. Like, I was like, damn, they're good.
But that's like that game alone could decide the number 2 seed, Market versus Northern. That very easily could, by the end of this whole thing, decide who is guaranteed a line spot. Like I think right now it looks like Market, Flipside, and Northern are locks after last week, but Market didn't play anyone that great, so this is their true test. Because their game right after it, they're playing Red Eye, who has been looking pretty good. So you never know if they can make some waves here by getting the upset over Market. Very, very possible.
See, like Mocket's another inconsistent team.
Yeah.
Like us,
lately
Mocket,
they've had
Flipside
results,
are
though,
the
right?
3 most inconsistent teams in EU in like the top 10, I reckon.
But like Market, the past 2 weeks, they've done really well in Gfinity, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Made it to the finals.
Yeah,
both times.
the last 2 weeks
Won
they've
one of
done
them.
well.
Yeah, so.
But like it can change at any point.
That's true.
Yeah, like my dog took 2 games off them.
Yeah.
And I mean the 3-0 Summit, which is that's quite normal, what's expected. So yeah, we don't know their RLCS potential yet, because they also had a ridiculously easy bracket in the qualifier. So we haven't actually seen Mocket play a proper team,
That's true.
like a
Except
top level
in
team
in
in
Gfinity.
RLCS, except in Gibbons,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like we haven't seen them in the big show.
So if Northern Gaming 3-0 Precision Z, I'd rate, I'd say Northern Gaming would beat Mocket. That's like I'd say it'd be like a 3-1 to Northern Gaming.
Yeah.
If Northern Gaming
Plus,
play
again, that
play
warm-up.
that level again, just because
Yeah.
I think I rate Precision Z as a really good team,
Yep.
and if Northern Gaming can 3-0 them, then I think so. But this is where it comes down to, I think play styles are now becoming, like I said this in a previous episode, like a couple of weeks back, but play styles are becoming way more of a factor nowadays.
Yeah, like counters.
They're like, so obviously like Mocket are a lot more defensive and they just soak up pressure a lot more and then counter, whereas Precision Z are way more like aggressive. And then Flipside are like, they used to be really aggressive, but now they're kind of like middle aggressive. So like, if we had like a scale, you got like Mocket at the bottom who are like really defensive, and then you got like Precision Z near the top, and Red Eye probably, who are like really aggressive, and then you got like Flipside like just below that, and then probably Northern Gaming just below that. Northern Gaming like a middle ground. So I guess Northern Gaming and Mocket is going to be an interesting one, because it's going to be like a mid-ground team versus a defensive team. So it's going to be, I would expect, low-scoring games. And who would I think when they're that close, it will kind of come down to just the skills of the players. So I'd still go with Northern Gaming.
Yeah, like it
But,
seems like whenever Pashy has a team, like if the other team has really good solo players that know how to put a ball into the net, then Mocket loses those games a lot.
Yes.
So that's why they never can be like Flipside, because like Cooksier and Markey know how to score from anywhere. And that's why they couldn't beat Northern for the longest time. But of course, like those rosters have changed. But that's why Mocket also destroys other teams. Like sometimes they'll just destroy Supersonic Avengers once in a while when you guys are not consistent. But then if you are consistent, I feel like then you guys can beat them, or when you're on point that day. It all comes down to it. But like I think Mocket has a little bit more offense out of this team than their previous teams.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
So,
I think
yeah.
I think
So I think
that's
that helps them a lot.
I actually think that's why they're playing well lately, because they've added that offense. Because lately, if you just keep defending and rely on counters, you're going to let in some goals every now and then, and you're probably going to lose. So I think yes, like when we first started scrimming them, it was just like, or first started playing their new squad, it was just like just soaking up the pressure. We're trying to score, and then they'll get a counter or something. And they're very defensive, and it was like 1-0 games or 2-0 or 2-1 or whatever, never more than that. So yes, now I think if they're playing, I think a part of the reason why they're winning now more is just because they're adding a little bit of offense to it. But I still think by comparison they are one of the most defensive teams. It's just they are putting in more pressure now, which is a good element to add, because they're very good defensively, but they just they never really created like crazy opportunities for themselves. So I think now they're starting to add that into their element, which is why they're doing better.
All right,
So-
we're going super long. We're going to do lightning Q&A. We only have 2 questions that we put on here. We'll just do them real quick because we'll forget them next week. Matt Rogers asks, does the crate drop rate need an increase I personally think no, because I think eventually everyone's just going to have them all anyway. So I think it retains value. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I agree. It's like way too like there's barely any enough items.
I kind of like how exclusive they are too, because then it's like a form of currency. you know?
For players that don't want to spend money, they can still get stuff, which is nice. So that's useful. All right, next question from Gregan. Never heard of him. How useful is a coach for a top team in Rocket League? Doomsy, really, really quick. Is he shit or is he good?
He's
As a
amazing.
coach.
Just like amazing.
Cool.
He's really good.
How does he help you
We'll talk
improve?
more about coaching next week.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, let's do
I
that.
could go
'cause I
very in
actually
depth
wanna-
in coaching, so I think we
Yeah,
can
let's
save
do
it
that.
this week.
Yeah,
the other
because
thing I
like,
want
that
to
could be a whole
about.
topic.
Yeah, I reckon.
Because another thing I want to talk about regarding that too is people need to separate a team manager and a coach. That is not a combined position.
We'll talk about that next week because we probably won't have as many stories besides, of course, like RLCS. But on that, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much. It was DFH Locker Room number 21 with James and Doomsy. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us.
up?
No, you're supposed to say goodbye.
Oh, what's up?
Bye bye.